Hello, clowns.
I'm Ami.
I'm Yu Chen, and we're the hosts of Clown Vibes Podcast.
We're two best friends who are chronically online and get together weekly to laugh and discuss all the clown behavior we see on the internet.
And there's so much.
Truly so much.
We're so glad to have you here to clown around with us, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, clowns, and welcome to another episode of Clown Vibes. One day I will intro this podcast a different way, and today is just not the day.
I feel like this is, at this point, solid, and our 10 listeners just expect it.
Yeah, totally. If we said something different, they'd be like, what? Which podcast am I listening to?
Exactly.
Well, actually, we have more listeners now. So,
do we?
Welcome. I think we do. I guess I haven't looked at the long-term stats of how long people are listening, but the number is high. I don't know if they were only listening for 1 second. My uncle was like, do you know if people are listening 10x speed? I'm like, is 10x a possibility?
I am definitely listening to all podcasts at 1.25 speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to this new podcast and they were talking so fast. I was like, man, the aliens must struggle to keep up with the English language here. But I'm like, are these girls just actually fast talkers, or are they speeding their episode up? Because I'm like, maybe we should speed our episode up.
No, you can tell when we speed it.
Really?
Yeah.
I have learned so much about video editing. I don't know if anyone can tell by our videos. Apparently, we need better recording equipment. And you know what? I'll send everyone my Venmo.
Okay, what is it? They say, hey, recording equipment is too cheap, or then they're saying you don't have good recording equipment?
No, they were just being
Pick
trolls.
a lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trolls are trolling on TikTok.
Trolls are trolling. I had the most insane dream last night, and I don't remember most of it, but there was this one piece where we were hanging out and we were getting pancakes, and we were wild with the pancakes. We went to this restaurant and got pancakes for lunch and dinner, and the next day we were like, where should we go? And we were like, let's go get pancakes again.
Yum.
Maybe I've just been obsessed with pancakes, but what was wild is my new hobby. I've developed a lot of new hobbies.
Okay.
Since you left me. And my latest hobby is skincare.
Okay.
And I've been obsessed with clearing my pores and getting rid of my blackheads. I had a dream that I had a massive blackhead and I was pulling it out. And I pulled out a date.
Ew. What?
Yeah. I don't know how my brain makes these things up, but you know what a date is, right?
Yeah.
It's like a huge ass dried fruit. And I pulled that out of my forehead. And in my dream, I was pretty sure, wow, this must be why I have a headache.
Oh my gosh. Have you been having a headache?
No, but you have headaches all the time.
I have headaches
so
all the time.
Maybe it's because you have a date stuck in your forehead.
Oh God, get the day out. I'll do anything to have the day out. I think lately my headaches have just been so intense from allergies. I cannot catch a break right now.
Oh, I have not started taking my allergy meds yet. That's just remind me to do it today if I don't.
I will. I've been really inconsistent about it too. And it's why? When this is affecting me so intensely. I need to be better about it.
Anytime I am severely sick from allergies, it is literally the worst sickness. You know you're supposed to be 80% there, but you're not.
Exactly.
Who would let us take a day off if we said, oh, I'm sick with allergies?
Exactly. It's not a respected illness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that allergies should have the respect they deserve. They're freaking brutal.
Let's rebrand allergies into this terrible disease. Oh my gosh. Okay. I have to tell you about my Suits rewatch because I've attempted a bunch of rewatches before.
Okay.
I will be the first to admit that I've attempted rewatches. I have almost never finished a rewatch.
Yeah.
I have gotten pretty far in Suits. I've even stopped and come back to the rewatch. So I feel like I'm really into it.
I love a Suits rewatch.
I have never done a Suits rewatch since Suits went on air.
That's so wild.
And I have some thoughts. My first thought is the actor who plays Louis Litt is literally carrying the show.
Yes. He brings so much energy, especially when like I feel like a lot of the storylines are just like kind of repetitive. Mike and Harvey are
Yeah.
pretty one note sometimes, and Lewis is very rarely one note.
I think I'm in season 5 or season 4, but I think it's season 4. I love the character development of Louis.
Mm-hmm.
My second note is if Meghan Markle had just stayed as her character, if she replayed roles similar to Rachel on Suits, I think she would have had a different trajectory.
Yes.
In pop culture. She would not be so hated right now because the character for Rachel Zane is, I think so far, so well written. I feel like as a watcher, I am always on Rachel's side, except for a few instances where I'm just like, why is Rachel always making the situation about her when she is literally a side character?
Meghan Markle was really trying to get like bumped up in the casting list.
Yeah, I was just like, this is some Megan shit. Rachel does not need to be this integral in this storyline. And okay, spoiler, I am on the part where she goes to Columbia Law School and is working part time as a law student and an associate for Harvey Specter. I'm just like, how does she become Harvey's associate? Make it make sense.
It's because she's dating Mike, and Harvey will do literally anything for Mike. Also, they try so hard to push that she's like a really good lawyer, and like maybe she is, I don't know, but
they don't show it.
Yeah, exactly. Before this like change happens where she's his associate, I don't feel like she does anything profound. And then all of a sudden it's like Rachel's a really good lawyer. It's like, do you have a photographic memory like Mike? I don't think so.
Also, I just find it so funny because I feel like Lewis is the coworker who just doesn't work. I never see him working.
It's because he is a side character, so you're not following his cases as much, sadly.
In my mind, I just think it's so funny because I'm like, Lewis never works unless he needs to like save the firm. And then he comes up with like some brilliant plan out of his ass. But the other times he's just like fucking around.
Yeah, he's just like, gotta go mudding.
Yeah.
Anyways, I am so glad you're rewatching this. I think anytime I watch it, it gives me life.
This kind of brings us to our main topic. And before we get into it, we just have to put out a disclaimer, not because we mispronounce something again, or maybe we will.
We probably will.
But because everything we're about to say after this is all rumored, all alleged, because we don't want to get sued.
Also, it's like a very sensitive subject in some ways. So, trigger warning for sexual assault.
And if there are any kids around, hide your kids.
Yeah.
All right. Our main topic today is about yacht girls, yachting, and the whole yachting industry. And did you know what a yacht girl was before we decided to do this episode?
I didn't that much. I had a more, I guess, rosy picture of it from watching Below Deck. And I did not understand like the insidiousness of the topic pre-researching.
Are they the crew for
No.
yachting?
I mean, well, they are yacht crews, but obviously it's a TV show, so like the guests are vetted and it's not about their guests aren't like billionaires who own the boat.
Mm-hmm.
They have like guests for a few days. So someone manages their yacht and like rents it out.
I wish that was all yachting was because that would sound so fun. But yachting is kind of a internet term right now to describe the act of joining these yachts, but it doesn't have to be a yacht. That's just like what has become really popular. But essentially, like an attractive girl or a guy will join a yacht to be the arm candy of really rich men. And sometimes it just stops at arm candy, but other times it can lead to doing certain things for these rich men or women and in exchange for something of monetary value. Essentially, you are a very high-end escort.
I had always heard about celebs yachting.
In a fun way?
In a fun way. I mean, and being yacht girls. But my naive view of it was, oh, they just get invited because they're hot and they like just have a party and then go home. I'm sad that my worldview has changed.
I don't know why I also had that like really rosy feel. I think I was first exposed to yachting when I started following all the Victoria's Secret models in like the early 2010s when Instagram was starting to pop off. And you would see them go on these really lavish vacations. And it's not just Victoria's Secret models. I'm just saying like those types of models. Now my brain is like, okay, if it's not a tagged sponsored event, it's more likely or not a yachting situation. And now my worldview is shattered because there's so many like name a celeb and she will either or he will either have participated or is like first degree removed from someone who has participated. It's that widespread.
Being on a yacht is like the epitome of luxury, at least in my eyes, or I thought it was. And so to hear that it's not that fun is sad.
I know. We can go yachting, but a different type of yachting.
A yachting where we are in control of the boat. Okay, but this typically occurs around Europe because there's a lot more relaxed traveling, and this is a very big phenomenon at the Cannes Film Festival. The term was mainstreamed in 2013 when the Hollywood Reporter did like an expose. I read that article yesterday, and while it was damning, I did not feel like it was that expose-y. Did you?
No, I think the term may have been around a lot. You know, people didn't really talk about it. Maybe it was hidden in blinds and it just became mainstream. Also, I don't know if the term yachting is super mainstream. It is and it isn't. People who are super on the internet probably know what yachting is, but
Yeah.
it's not like Nepo babies where we can ask your aunt and she would probably know, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't even know 2% of it for this.
Yachting, the activity kind of focuses on yachts itself because A, it's an expensive activity. Not many people can own and charter a luxury boat, but it's not contained in a yacht. A billionaire can fly you out to a very expensive vacation spot in a secluded mansion.
Yeah.
And it would still be considered yachting. Like it's kind of the same activity. Yachting is not just any type of escorting, it does have to be high end. And this can occur outside the ocean, on land. It's very popular at like fancy ski resorts as well. But I think the girls are called ski bunnies instead of yacht girls. Such a cute name. Why do they have to change it like that?
I know.
It does have to involve some level of like a lot of money because money talks and money can apparently make anyone do anything these days.
I feel like it probably not got its origin on yachts, but like it's more popular on yachts because the ocean is the wild, wild west of laws. If you are in trouble on the ocean, who's coming to help you?
You know what? So many bizarre things have happened
Exactly.
this year in the sea.
Exactly. It's like the easiest way to hide a body.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true advice. Don't take it, please.
Don't take our advice on clown vibes. I want to talk about some clown elements of yachting because there are a lot. Although there can be yacht boys, it is primarily women because we get exploited by men. And unfortunately, in this case, I do feel like there are situations where women exploit women a lot because it's kind of like an MLM.
Yeah.
You climb to the top and you have to recruit other girls. But there's usually a madame in the pic, and this madame is an experienced yacht girl. She's much older, and it's kind of like your big sister, but it's someone who reassures you that what you're doing is okay. And it's usually someone who's using their vast network to recruit other girls to participate. And what's also very clownish is sometimes they recruit girls that are desperate for money. So I heard that they typically avoid the US girls, the UK girls, because these are coming from more wealthy, quote unquote, wealthy nations.
Yeah.
And they're not as desperate for money. We have just a different culture of spilling the beans. And in yachting, you need to be tight lipped or you're not getting on the ship.
This is like a very Jeffrey Epstein,
It is.
Giselle, or whatever the fuck her name is.
Not
situation.
Giselle.
Oh, wait. Oh,
Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh my
Elaine.
god.
Okay, it's because I can't read. Okay, that was like I thought that's what her name ended up being, but like I guess not.
How can you get Giselle and Ghislaine Maxwell mixed up?
I don't know because Gigi and I don't know how to read. And also, it's not even written anywhere. This is from memory, and we all know my memory is 0%.
That's true. That's your cloud moment of the day. This is really timely because we're recording this now as all of the Diddy stuff is coming out. And we're not going to get into the Diddy stuff because my stomach can't handle it in the morning.
No.
Someone who is allegedly a famous madame is Naomi Campbell. Do you know who Naomi Campbell is? You must know of her, right?
Yes.
Yeah. She is a very famous supermodel in the early 2000s, maybe in the late 1990s too. I don't know. She was a top supermodel, and she apparently is very well known for recruiting from the supermodel industry because she's so well connected. But I hear that I saw one video, and that is how rumors are started. But I heard that she is also like really mean to the girls that she recruits. Like,
God.
if a younger girl signs up for it and then wants to leave because
she's uncomfortable.
Yeah, she doesn't want to do it. And that's okay. Naomi Campbell will kind of bully her into it. And
that's sick.
Naomi, that's not cool. I'm sure with all the Diddy stuff, you will eventually get what's coming for you. But another girl that I want to talk about that we are more familiar with is Nina Dobrev.
I have heard this rumor for a very long time. I don't know. I feel very uncomfortable with it. I think that's wild. What's crazy is I do think she's a good actress. Like, you kind of have to be to play 7 characters on one show. And I think she did do it really well, but she never really took off.
Did she play 7 characters or did she play 2?
No, at one point she was playing like 7 people because Elena is the ultimate doppelganger.
But all the Elenas kind of act the same except for Catherine, right?
No.
All right. Me and I have different POVs of how good Vampire Diaries is. But if you don't know who Nina Dobrev is, she started as a child actress in Degrassi. She then pivoted into teen dramas. Most notably is Vampire Diaries. And when you read a lot of blinds about her, it's always this used to be A- or B+ actress who's now borderline C of an almost network TV show. If you see that, it's Nina Dobrev. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh man, I guess it does kind of make sense because there's no way that like that show is really like funding your life. I feel like she was living a more lavish life than you would think she would get from just Vampire Diaries and the other like, small things she's been in.
So we did an episode on the writer's strike. It was like back in season 1, but if I learned anything from that episode, it's that with the way that the fee structure is created for actresses and actors and probably even writers, you're really not getting much after your show ends. And so I believe that she needs the money. And another aspect of yachting, but what contributes to yachting is you think these celebrities are well off. They're not. They are also desperate for money. A lot of celebrities and, A-list individuals participate in yachting because it is just another form of income. They are diversifying their income. Some of them need it, some of them don't. Some of them just need it for the connections that are on these yachts and like what it brings. But from a lot of the blinds that I read about Nina Dobrev, she brought a lot of her CW connections to the yacht industry. So it just means that they were not paid enough and justice for these individuals.
No, they're definitely not, because Queen Mary from Reign, she went on like a live or something during COVID and was like explaining her fee structure, or TikTok or something. And she was basically like, I'm making pennies after I pay everyone for each episode. So that's fair. And I've seen a lot of stuff where Nina, once she quote unquote aged out, also was like a top recruiter. for these yachts.
I wonder if she get a commission. Probably.
She must. Yeah. That's her way of still being able to like benefit from the yachting with like not being able to, I guess, do the job. I don't know. But do you think you have to be like so brainwashed to think that you're helping these girls? Or do you get into this animal instinct of survival in a way that you have to suspend belief on like what you're doing when you ask other young girls to like come on a yacht?
It really depends. This is why yachting is such a gray area, because there are certain cases where everyone who signed up knows what they're getting themselves into. Then I feel like it's on the individual. Like, I never want to shame a girl
No,
for
totally not.
sex work. And there are cases where you know exactly what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
But here is another clown aspect of it, is that sometimes, especially the girls who got nothing to lose and
Mhm.
this is their first time, it isn't portrayed as what it is out to be.
Yeah.
You are being reached out by maybe an agency or someone who claims to like be part of this group, and they're saying that this is a legit modeling job. And you get on the boat and you're like, wait.
And I feel like, and this is all just my thoughts, but like, anyways, I feel like once you get on the boat, even though you were like told one thing, like maybe you were told a lot of what is going to happen, like you never really can trust men to control themselves and act like decent human beings. And once again, when you're out in the sea, they can really do whatever they want. Like they have ultimate complete power.
And it's not like you can escape.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no escaping. It's like just a very hazardous situation. If the way to get out is through, and the through could be terrible in ways we can't even imagine.
I never even said on the podcast why my Seuss rewatch is topical for this episode. It's because another well-known, quote unquote well-known, well-rumored actress who was a yacht girl was Meghan Markle. And you know what? All of the dark issues in US pop culture is now coming into play, because I'm pretty sure the Jeffrey Epstein
Yeah.
Island situation, yachting itself, and the Diddy situation are all connected.
For sure.
They are just different flavors of the same story, which is sick to believe. But what I've heard about Meghan Markle is she used to be Andrew's girl, or she met Prince Andrew through yachting. And why have there not been more conversations about how gross Prince Andrew is? It's because the royal family is bearing that shit.
Yeah, and I think not to say that like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff has kind of died down. People are very selective in the ones that they like bring up of who he was with. And I don't know, those people are just not getting enough shit. All right, let's discuss some other famous yacht girls. And amongst those is Selena Gomez and the Kardashians.
Do you believe that?
I do believe it.
The Kardashians, I feel like, actually do not need money now. But do you think they still do it?
I think this is like when I'm saying Selena and the Kardashians, this is back when Hailey was trying to get Justin. Like this is in the heyday of situation, because I did see something that was really interesting of Selena really wasn't that popular on her own, right? She was not a good singer. She just was on Disney Channel, and she was always referred to as Justin's girlfriend or Justin's ex. Like she really had no famous identity besides that. And she probably like mostly wanted the connections to be a bigger star, and like look at her now. She probably also needed the money. I'm sure Disney is not paying you that well.
Yeah, because how did Rare Beauty get funded? I'd be curious to dig into that. You know how we did an episode on the feud between like Justin, Selena, and Hailey?
Yeah.
And we referenced this one party that they go to. I bet that was a yacht party.
Yes, exactly. That was a yacht party, because I know that you said it was related to some brand thing.
Yeah, it was related to Belmont, which is like a legitimate brand party, but
I don't think the whole trip was funded by them.
Yeah.
That is exactly where I was about to go with it. And so I do think the Kardashians, Selena, even Haley is like rumored to do it. Pretty much that group is rumored to be a yacht girl. You know who I didn't hear anything about though, and I've never heard anything about being a yacht girl is Taylor Swift.
She don't need the money.
Yeah, I don't think so. And like, I guess she doesn't need the connections either. Very interesting that so many of her friends have done it.
I don't know if it's more so many of her friends or that industry just needs the money.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't understand that. Like, we have the security of a 9 to 5, but they don't. And I wonder, like, people get so desperate for money.
Yeah.
And if Selena Gomez doesn't have any haters, I'm dead, because she is the most mid singer ever.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how she's the most followed woman on Instagram.
It must be so many bots. Okay, yeah, totally. And like, also, I do really believe that the Kardashians did it from the get go, or like towards the beginning for sure, because they, one, needed money to live like the lifestyle that they were trying to portray, and then two, wanted connections so bad. You'll get into the scandal, but like J-Lo, Kim is very closely tied to him.
Are you referring to J-Lo or Jolo?
Jolo.
Oh
Okay,
my
sorry.
God.
Okay, that's written on the page and I can't read. Okay, we'll get into it, but Yushin's about to explain who Jolo is, and Kim is very closely tied to him.
This is a situation where alleged kind of blends into the truth, because now the US government is involved somehow. And there are documented papers of certain quote unquote girlfriends or recipients of really expensive gifts that were bought with embezzled money.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is not evidence of yachting, I don't know what is. But to give you the high level overview of the scandal that kind of brought to life a bunch of yachting, the 1MDB scandal, which to me in my mind sounds like IMDb.
I
Every time I
know.
see it, I'm just like, IMDb?
Literally. When you like, when I was looking at the outline and I saw it, I was like, what? The like website?
Yes.
Once again, I can't read.
But essentially, the 1MDB scandal, which stands for One Malaysia Development Berhad scandal, created a paper trail of quote unquote yacht girls. So 1MDB is basically this sovereign fund that the government of Malaysia uses to fund their projects. Every government kind of has these sorts of funds.
Yeah.
But there were a group of men, Jolo in particular, who is this guy who embezzled billions of dollars, funneled like money that was made off of this government fund, and bought the most expensive shit you'll ever think of. And like, also, why?
Literally, why?
My thought is like, are these guys dumb or smart? Because you have to be smart to be able to embezzle $4 billion. But what they spent it on, I was just like, dude, you could have just bought better things.
They're reckless and they
Mhm.
are egotistical, I think, because once they've like embezzled, they think they're untouchable, and then that's why they spend it on like dumbass shit.
I first got exposed to this scandal because I was reading this article about Miranda Kerr, and this is the first time I was finding out that she was a alleged yacht girl.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one person that is the furthest from alleged, is Miranda Kerr, because of the paper trail that the scandal provided. Essentially, she was one of the girlfriends of Jolo, and I don't even know if girlfriend is the right term. High-end escort of Jolo, I guess. But she apparently was gifted a see-through grand piano. Like, why does this even exist? It was custom made.
I need to look up what it looks like because the pictures were not loading in the article yesterday for me because my Wi-Fi is so trash. But like, what does a see-through piano even really look like? Is it like just a crystal piano, basically?
Kind of. And you can see basically like what is underneath the hood, which is really beautiful.
Yeah.
She can't deny that she doesn't have it because there are like articles or videos of her like playing on it. And the US government went there to like seize the stolen or seize the item because it was bought with stolen money.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever got it out because
It's so hard to get out.
Yeah, you can't fit it through the door. I think he also bought her really expensive jewelry, and that is all documented in these like government papers.
What's crazy is like he got her a 11.71 carat heart-shaped diamond and like 11 carat diamond earrings. Where are you wearing those? How is that staying on your ear? I guess maybe it's not a stud, but that's crazy. And like, where the hell is the heart diamond? What object are you putting that into?
So here's where I'm confused because I used to love Miranda Kerr. And I say used to because now I just like don't care anymore. It's not because she's a yacht girl, like girl,
Yeah.
get your bag. But she had started doing this, I think maybe after she and Orlando Bloom got divorced. And it's rumored that they got divorced because he wasn't able to provide her the monetary lifestyle that she wanted. But she has since married the CEO and founder of Snapchat and has now funded, which is so funny because I can't imagine Snapchat having a lot of money.
But they do.
He must come from money though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, I think like buyout or like the IPO of Snapchat, like at the beginning, was very lucrative. I don't know that Snapchat is lucrative today, but I do think he made a ton of money off of it.
Let's hope because someone has got to fund her beauty brand. I really don't know if it's like sustainable at this point.
You know what I saw yesterday is that Evan Spiegel, the CEO and founder of Snapchat, was either a born again virgin or a virgin when they got married.
Yes.
And like she said she was a born again virgin. And to that
That's
I
just
say,
so fucking weird.
why? Yeah. Why do you need to like publicly state those kinds of things? Like I didn't need to know that about you.
Yeah, and it's also just with her background being an alleged yacht girl.
Sure, Jan.
You know what is also clownish is she also got outed by Emrata.
Oh, Emrata is outing everyone. She actually like also is speaking out about the Diddy stuff, and I think she's one of the few celebs speaking against it.
Good. I am so on the fence about Emrata sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, go girl, body positivity. Other times I'm just like, you hate everyone.
Including yourself. Where I have empathy is no idea what you've been through, and I imagine it's terrible. So, you know what? At least you're using your celebrity to speak out against things that are wrong and you're not shying away from it.
I think she struggles with what she has had to do in the
Exactly.
past and is shedding light to it, but maybe in a wrong way. But in her memoir that she wrote, or she had a ghostwriter write, she talks about Miranda Kerr and she talks about how she went on a trip with a bunch of girls. Miranda Kerr was on it. She didn't directly name Miranda Kerr, but she talks about Miranda's dimples. And that's like a very notable characteristic of Miranda. But essentially, she was saying how the girl knew what she was doing, while all the other girls were kind of keeping to themselves, knew what they were in for, but it wasn't time to perform yet. Miranda was like working it with the guy.
Dang.
Trying to get the bag, acting on demure. And to that, the girl worked hard. She worked hard for that see-through piano.
Those kinds of things where I'm like, if you're doing it for yourself, totally do whatever you want. It's when you start recruiting other girls that I'm like, that's terrible and you're complicit now. But if Miranda never did that and she was just working very hard for her money, go for it.
This whole JoLo situation makes me realize that once you have a ton of money that you and I can't fathom because A, we're decently well off, but we have no concept of what it means to be
ultra rich. Yeah.
But when you're ultra rich, you just do stupid stuff to feel something at the end of the day, because buying a see-through piano, I'm just like, that's not a good investment. But heck, if you have billions of dollars, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's why in this case, it's funny because they portray him as the Asian Great Gatsby. Also, this was the time when the concept of a Great Gatsby and like the Gatsby movie was really taking off and everyone was weirdly obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Like in Korea too, there was also like a Korean Great Gatsby and everyone was obsessed with just like having this lavish lifestyle. And he would also recruit people to party with him and play poker with him. And one of the guys that he recruited was Leonardo DiCaprio. So I don't actually know if Leonardo DiCaprio did any sexual favors for him. I don't know if
Yeah.
that was part of the deal, but I do know that like there are pictures of them two together, that they play poker together, and Joe Lo bought gifts for Leonardo DiCaprio because it's named in the paper. They had to seize the Oscar that Marlon Brando had won, some Picasso's, a basket. They just spent their money on artwork. And that's not all that they bought. They bought property too, but they also funded The Wolf of Wall Street. So Jolo and his like business partner were involved with a production studio called Red Granite Pictures. Red Granite Pictures. I don't know how to pronounce that. Red Granite Pictures funded a bunch of movies using the stolen funds, including The Wolf of Wall Street, which is also like a very Gatsby type of movie.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the Great Gatsby that Leo was in.
It was similar. I think like Leo is a, in my head, example of like he went through some shit when he was younger and now he is dealing with it by perpetrating not the same stuff, but other things that are also not good.
I feel like this is a clown aspect of yachting, but it's somewhat cyclical. Is I think what you're trying to get
Yeah.
at, because we see so many Daily Mail pictures of Leo and other young models. Who knows if they're consenting or not? This area is very gray.
Yeah.
It's very muddy. And I don't know if it's ever going to be black and white, unfortunately.
It's just an area where there's so little like control, there's so little laws. Regardless, these people are above the law because of their wealth. It takes a ton for them to be reprimanded for their wrongdoings, and frankly, there just are not enough resources because we spend too much in the military to get these people.
The amount of money in our military budget is actually wild.
It's terrifying. We could have bought a see-through piano and I would have been happier about it.
You know who else I found out recently was a yacht boy?
Who?
Our beloved Zac Efron.
I think it checks out in a way where like he does seem really burdened, don't you think?
I think he looks very rough. He looks rough lately.
I can see that being maybe that things have turned out the way they have for him. It makes me sad that like once you get to a certain level, then you think like you need to keep having this much money. Like I think once you get to a certain level of money, you can't really go down from that because you don't know how to survive off of less.
Lifestyle creep.
Yeah, and like you want that status, you want to keep growing in your celebrity, and that comes at such a huge cost for some people, and it's hard to like do the risk opportunity analysis of like, is this worth it?
Unfortunately, the entertainment industry isn't if you work hard, you can succeed.
Totally.
And that's one of the bigger elements of it. It is 100% who you know, the financial backings that you may have, who may want to take a risk on you. And that's why all of these stories are now coming out. But do you think in our lifetime we would ever understand the full depth?
No.
Of the entertainment industry? Because I don't think they ever released like a little black book of Epstein Island. Was that ever revealed, those who participated in the activities that he created?
I don't think formally in any way. It exists for sure. I think that this is what people are saying about the Diddy situation, is that he is going to flip and name a lot of people. And so we might start seeing it, but I don't think we'll ever know the full extent, ever. We might hear about some things, but we're not ever going to really know everything.
Isn't that weird though?
Yeah, totally. It's such a hush-hush little bubble.
And who is keeping it hushed? Is it the royal family because of Andrew?
For the Epstein stuff, I'm sure.
But they're all connected.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, yeah, it's like someone very powerful who has the sway. Also, they keep it hush hush because it's like everyone has dirt on each other, right? And like you don't want another person to spill the dirt on you. I actually saw some really interesting is not the right word, some really pointed things about Ashton Kutcher last night regarding the Diddy situation, and Danny Masterson about how, remember he wrote those letters? Him and Milo wrote the letters for Danny Masterson, who was convicted on, I believe, 2 counts of the R word. The videos were implying that Danny Masterson must have so much dirt on Ashton, because Ashton was very involved with Diddy back in the day. And this was his way of being like, look, man, I got you. Don't out me.
We need someone like the woman. I think it's actually two girls who broke the Weinstein situation.
Mm-hmm.
And like a completely objective third party who has no skin in the game should blow this wide open. I don't think I'll be ready to hear about it though.
No. And the thing is, I don't know that there's anyone who doesn't have skin in the game who knows about it.
Oh, I don't know anything about it.
Yes, sure. Like if we saw it, then we would hopefully say something, but we're not ever in a situation where we could see these things happening. And like everyone in that situation is in some way involved, either getting paid by someone and they need the money, like there's so many things. I think it's also purposeful to not have people around you who have no skin in the game when you're doing things like this.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if we were investigating it? Like our lives would be threatened.
Oh, 100%. In that way, it's like, well, then we have, quote unquote, have skin in the game because our lives are being threatened. Our families' lives would probably be threatened. That's why we'll never know, because it's just so dangerous.
Spooky.
It's about to be spooky season, and a lot of spooky shit is coming out.
Thanks so much for listening. You can follow us on all social media at Clown Vibes Podcast or email us at clownvibespodcast@gmail.com. And if you like our show and want to support us, please like, subscribe, and give us a rating and review. That's it for today. Bye, clowns.
Bye, clowns.